Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake, or Resynced, is finally here. It feels like everyone knew that this game was coming at some point, and well, here it is. I know we've had a lot of remakes in the past few years of a lot of different games, but it's a safe option for a lot of studios, and especially for Ubisoft and all their games that they have been releasing, not really being as good or maybe performing as well as they would hope. This one is sure to be a slam dunk, right? Well, I sure hope so, because Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed that I've ever played, and playing it way back on the PS3 was really an incredible experience to go through the game the first time around. From exploring and parkouring in the cities all the way to sailing in the waters with that naval combat and your crew singing sea shanties, it was truly an incredible game. Hopefully this is a really good remake and they stay faithful to the series, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that I noticed that they are changing, that they have said they're changing, and some of my concerns. Now, obviously, the first thing is the game's being rebuilt on their newest engine, so the game obviously gets a huge boost in visual fidelity. Now, I think that this remake does look great, and to me, I'll be honest, the characters and their faces look a little bit strange and off in certain situations, but honestly, I think that's just because I'm so used to their previous face and character models. Albeit they obviously look pretty good, but the environments and everything like that obviously looks incredible. Now, of course, when it comes to performance, we'll have to see how it actually performs, but the specs that they have released for the PC is a minimum 1660 or an RX 5500 XT with a Intel Core i7 8700K or a Ryzen 5 3600 and your standard 16 gigs of RAM. For the recommended, they released the i5 10600K or the Ryzen 5 3600, which is funny because the CPU changed for Intel, but it remained the same for minimum and recommended, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever really seen that before. And for the GPU, a 3060 RTX or a Radeon RX 6600 XT. Now, they did not specify what they're targeting, if it's 1080p on low settings, 60 frames or minimum, and 1080p high settings or recommended, or if they're targeting 30, or is this 1080p upscaled, we're not really sure right now, and that will be for us to really see, I guess, when it comes to launch. One really cool thing is that the game is actually getting a whole brand new combat system, which I think is great. Now we're going to be getting a more modern action combat system versus the previous system, which was sort of animation based combat system. There wasn't really much to it. You would just kind of hit a button and animations would play out, and that was kind of the combat, really. So the combat wasn't really great in the game. It was definitely not a strong suit. So if they were to redesign anything in this remake, I think the combat is a great thing to pick. But of course, we will have to see how it actually plays once people start getting this game in their hands. It seems as though they're adding some more stories to a lot of the different characters that are in the game, bringing them back, giving them some more dialogue, and really kind of expanding on the game, which is great because it's always nice getting some extra little treats here and there, especially for the people who played the game, and I feel like a lot of us have played this game before. And I think they knew that if they simply ported this game to a new engine, made it look good, and then kind of just try to resell you this game for, what is it, $60 US, a lot of people might not really be on that as much, especially on PC if you can try and get the game modded to look a little better. I wanted to talk about that price tag a little bit. So it's $60 US for the base game. Something I'm not a big fan of is they're adding, cosmetic stuff for a single player game that is a remake. Like, I get that they gotta make their money. I get that they're not in the best situation when it comes to making money as a company. But really, for an extra $10, they're going to give you a Master Assassin Naval Pack and a Master Assassin Character Pack, which will come with some boat skins, some pet skins, and some skins for your character and his weapons and all that kind of stuff. Which I feel like, honestly, do we really need to have paid cosmetic items in a single player game, let alone a single player game that's being remade from 2013? And on top of that, you also have a pre-order bonus where you get a Crimson Costume Sword and Pistol skin if you end up pre-ordering the game. The game is slated to come out July 9th or 10th of this year, so really not too far out. I was pretty surprised when they actually announced the release date. I thought that this would be a little bit further on in the year, but it seems like it's going to be coming out relatively soon. I really hope that they stick to the roots of this game and keep the main framework of the game where it is. And I hope that they don't try and add some weird microtransaction battle pass things like they, have been trying to go for in their previous games. It doesn't look like they're going to be doing that, but it's Ubisoft. Honestly, you never know. There was a whole thing when Assassin's Creed Shadows was coming out that they were going to have this entire battle pass system, and they realized how much people really hated it, so they completely reworked it. So instead of it being paid, it was these like free missions to try and keep you playing longer. And the game just kind of felt off. It felt like it's artificially trying to keep you there to try and grind for skins, but at the same time, it's a single player game, and it's hard to care for these like FOMO tactics in a game where you're only missing out for yourself. You're not really going to be able to show your friends like, hey, look what cool skin I was able to obtain by putting in however many hours into this game. Which personally for me, I'm not a big fan of these battle pass loot boxes, whatever like that, anything to keep you playing the game for longer. Or you could pay to play, kind of pay to win or pay to progress type games. And look, I'm all for having things that you can buy extra, whatever it may be, like cosmetically. Sure, I'm okay with that. But build your game out in a way that makes people want to spend time because it's fun, not because, you're trying to create some FOMO tactic. And then we can talk about, okay, look, if I'm willing to spend hundreds of hours in this game because it's actually fun, sure, maybe I'll drop $15 for a cosmetic skin or something. But I digress. This is probably not going to be in this game, or fingers crossed, I hope it's not. And I'm super excited to play this. I've been thinking of replaying Black Flag, and I'll be able to play it in a definitive way in only about 2 months from now. Let me know what you guys think of this announcement. Will you guys be diving in, or is this not enough to really get you back into the game if you've already played it? Or if you've never really been into Assassin's Creed franchise in general? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and I'll see you guys on the next one.